We're excited to do this. It's fantastic to get together people from across the country, both members of Highrise and also guests. And our objective in this meeting is to talk about things that impact us in sales and marketing. And that could be as traditional as branding. It could be LinkedIn strategies that Rhonda does. It could be sales quotas. It could be how to talk to the new generation of clients that we're pursuing. But the idea is we're all in this business. We should be able to share ideas that when we leave this meeting on a monthly basis, we come back with something that we can apply. We can make our sales and marketing organizations better. And whether if that's our own personal sales and marketing, or if it is our clients' sales and marketing, which some of the folks that are here are selling through to people and helping them. Let's collaborate. Let's get those ideas. There's always new things happening. So I want to say this is obviously a place for inspiration, for wisdom, for sharing different information. This is obviously a formation meeting. So these are not the members. But once we have a group of members, we're going to start sharing a little more personal things, I think, and that might be, how do I hire a salesperson, or I'm challenged with my sales team, or those sorts of things. And I want to let you know that that's not going to happen as much today, but once we get our group together, it will happen more so. Just a quick reminder, if you have your name there, it would be really great if you put next to it your specialty, what you do. Like if you look at Rhonda down here, she put LinkedIn strategist. Catherine, I know you're in design for office places. So if you want to put that, that's super healthy, wealthy, and good. I saw you, Keith, put wealth up there, and it just caught in my brain. Wealthy, healthy, good. So awesome. Well, good. Well, let's get started. So what we're going to do at this point, since we're a relatively small group, is we're going to do our roundtable discussions. But what we're going to do is, prior to the answering of the question, I'd like you to do a brief, and I know that's hard for us in sales and marketing, a brief introduction. So I'm Keith Conley. I'm in wealth management. I work with companies, individuals with 2 million plus, and I'm in Rochester, New York. So simple, so we can spend the time talking about some ideas that we're going to work with today. Hello, Stephanie. Welcome. So now that Stephanie is here, we can get started. So perfect. So our first topic of the day is what emerging strategies have been winning business for you or your clients. So I'll put that in the chat, and I will go ahead and probably voluntold one of our experts here. Rhonda, you want to get us started?
Absolutely. I'm Rhonda Scher. I am a LinkedIn strategist since 2009. Basically, the strategies that have been working for me are three things. Number one, speaking, doing webinars, speaking my own webinars, or having somebody else invite me as a guest to speak on a webinar. The second thing is actually just LinkedIn, constantly posting, commenting on other people's posts and being out there. And third is really direct outreach on LinkedIn. Those are the three things that have literally kept my calendar full and kept my business running. So that's
amazing.
it.
Thank you, Rhonda. That was fantastic. And now that I'm on LinkedIn more, I see you all the time. You're my feed.
I live there. I
Yeah.
literally live there. I did a webinar yesterday and I had 58 people that registered, and I literally had people sending me messages saying, couldn't make it, can I get the replay? Like they actually, followed up and said, I want the replay. So
Wow.
It works if you work it.
Thanks, Rhonda. I appreciate it. And Rob, since you were the first one here and you've got all the cool tech, Why don't you introduce yourselves and answer the question of what emerging strategies have been winning business for you or your clients?
I'm not sure I would qualify what I do as emerging, but it could be viewed that way by a bunch of people. But you can see my office here. What I did previously, and I just resigned from that position. I was there for 24 years, but I told you in the beginning of the call before everybody else joined that I did video conferencing since the year 2000, when it was really more of a novelty than anything else, but I got myself accustomed to using it, and I still use it to this day. And so we actually closed the video conferencing business down because it was becoming free, and we weren't able to charge for the hardware for it as much as we used to. And so we bought a industrial camera company, which you can see these little cameras here, and these are software driven cameras. So my angle with that was to use my previous experience and my my appointments here to just demonstrate the heck out of my product. Every lead that came in, we used live chat, we use web forms to get leads in, but every lead that came in, I would get on a Teams call or whatever video platform of their choice, and that gave me the opportunity to kind of form that kind of more personal touch. Like, you're in Rochester, I'm in Webster, right? So I didn't realize that until I just met you. But these are the types of things. People comment on my Buffalo Bills helmet and all this, but I also train myself to do really good software product demos. So the value that I offered instantaneously to the customer is they're on our website, and they're looking at our products. I was able to instantly demonstrate whatever they thought they wanted to see, and probably some other things. So my thing was, and still is, the ability to interact with the customer when they want to be interacted with. So live chat, and then be able to deliver something of use for them instantly over video, regardless of where they are.
Love that. Great. Awesome.
By the way, 30 years ago, I lived in Fairport. We'll talk.
That's where I grew up.
Is it? Whitney
Yeah.
Ridge up from Pittston,
20D8 Whitney Ridge at one point.
I was 20B9.
Yeah.
I met my wife up there. So,
We overlooked
well,
the
my late
pool.
wife anyway, she passed, but.
Or Moritz. I don't recognize your name, but I think it was 30 years ago, 1987, 80.
Wow.
88, but whatever.
I worked at, my first big job was Nutrisystem. I was regional marketing manager.
Oh, okay. Nice.
I got mono from a girl who I dated from Brockport. I remember that.
Good to know.
AMI, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. We'll let you guys take that on a sideline.
Yeah.
Scott, go ahead.
Oh, I won't say this though. Wide right. Oh, I did it. Okay, good.
Scott Robertson, go ahead.
Hey, everybody. So I'm Scott. I'm not a member of Highrise yet. I was invited to go check this out, and so I thought I would. I'm in Phoenix, Arizona. I help entrepreneurs who are really struggling with marketing. Specifically, I'm a brand messaging specialist. I'm a story brand guide, and I've been a public relations professional for 30 years. So things that really work for me. I'm doing a lot of white labeling. A lot of agencies don't want to, messaging is kind of messy, and they don't want to do it. But they need it, because if you have bad messaging and you create a website, you have a really bad website. And so I'm doing a lot of working with other agencies that just don't want to dig into the weeds, in terms of messaging. And I'm also doing a lot of white labeling for PR for agencies that recognize the value of PR, but they don't really want to deal with the press, those messy, cynical press. So much. Anyway, that's me. I'm in Phoenix, although right now I'm in Florida. I'm getting ready to go on vacation. So anyway, good to hang.
What emerging strategies have been winning business for you or your clients?
Oh, I would say kind of like Rhonda, speaking. If I give the story brand keynote to business owners, they get a lot of value out of it. And then they're like, well, I'm not doing that. And I need somebody to guide me through that. And so the story brand keynote is a really good way to do that. Do webinars, website kind of tear downs from the message, looking at the message, things like that. That's a really good strategy. And also I think I like to post on LinkedIn and Twitter, X. And so,
Nice. So you are using LinkedIn, the social media channels to drive business as well. That's
yeah, absolutely.
fantastic. Awesome, Scott. Thank you. Welcome. Larry.
Thank
Hi, and good to meet everybody. I'm a guest as well, and maybe nice, and maybe Boris, method to your madness, having me go after Scott. We're similar situated in that my focus is brand strategy, brand story, but more from I think you come from a communication standpoint. I think what might make us unique in this discussion is, as I put in the name, aligning marketing and sales and bringing brand and retail, brand and shopper marketing together for our clients, whether it's B2B or B2C. Getting some background noise, by the way. I don't know if others are hearing that. I'm a big fan of breaking down silos. I hate silos. I don't know why they exist. I know why they exist. I don't know why they still exist in this day and age. We're all about collaboration, and so finding that commonality and in terms of helping our clients win and from a sales and marketing standpoint, it's about leading with insight for us, insight about who their core customer is, again, whether that's a B2B customer or B2B2C, and demonstrating a level of strategic and creative thought that maybe is, different than maybe how those clients have gone to market before. Said differently, moving them from being transactional to more relational and intentional. For us as an organization, all of our business is referral. So I'm actively networking, but not networking to make a sale, more so networking in terms of just one, I love to meet new people and learn new points of view and perspectives. But I do a lot of coaching, mentoring, and connecting, including helping people in their own transition, and have a pretty good track record helping people who are looking to connect and gain their next leadership role. And I enjoy doing that from the youngest emerging talent coming out of school, as late as this week with a Northwestern grad here in Chicago, to a C-suite executive who was in transition and just started what's today, Monday, week 2 in his new role. So that's a little bit about kind of our approach with our clients, a little bit about us. I hope that was helpful.
Thanks, Larry. I appreciate
Thanks
it.
for having me.
One thing I forgot to do is that since this is a sales and marketing group, it would not be terrible to add your contact info in the chat. So we might as well do that. So as we go, put that in there, because we do want people to connect here. We want to get ideas. And honestly, why not get some business and do some business together too? So maybe as you introduce yourself and then answer the question, you can post your information. So Keith, you are the next person on my list.
Well, howdy, everybody. My name is Keith Conley. I am a partner at Wealth Teams Alliance. We're based out of Irvine, California. We're a wealth management firm, do investment management, life insurance, and retirement, and ultra high net worth planning. I work primarily with business owners on generational wealth strategy planning. And so what's worked for me is I get invited to speak and do webinars on business succession and continuity planning. And there's a really wonderful organization through the Small Business Administration called SCORE. And they have chapters all around the nation. And I do the Orange County, California presentation on business exit planning. And I got to tell you, it's a long-term play, but I do it about once a quarter, and every time I do that webinar, we'll have maybe 30 to 50 people on the webinar, and I'll get 2 to 3 solid leads where we will actually have conversations. I'm going to close $1 million investment account on Friday, God willing. That came through SCORE. And I'm hoping in September to close a $20 million account. And that came through SCORE. So, you know, I'm not very good. You guys are all really good at lead gen and getting people to commit. That's not me. So I don't know how to get people to come to my webinar. So I just speak in other people's webinars.
Hey, that's a great strategy. Nice work, Keith. We'll listen. Well, hopefully we'll get some good news on Saturday. You have to send $1 to each one of us though, because we're sending the mojo right now. You feel it?
But you know, a legitimate wealth management strategy is to have $1 million or 1 million people send you $1.
There you go. Okay. I'm onto something here. I'm onto something. Well, awesome, Keith. Good luck with that, and great idea. So, Paul, we've known each other for a week, but I feel like he's a good old friend. I don't know why.
Yeah, well, thanks for inviting me. Yeah, I'm Paul Mosenson. I'm New Spark Media Group. I was New Spark Marketing. I was New Spark Consulting. I said, stop it, Paul, just have one website. Well, it's not easy to, these branding people, but I guess the point though is I have value with B2B and B2C, and I'm a media buyer at heart, but I'm also a lead generator, right? So and now I use AI to, build campaigns efficiently, and we could talk more about that. But it's good to be here, and marketing and sales is always, we fight sometimes, but it's good to with the tools and with people to we're always better together. Did I miss what else am I supposed to say again? Oh, you're on mute first.
That's usually when I see my best things. So what emerging strategy have been winning business for you and your clients?
Yeah. Well, it's hard to say. I mean, for me, I'm going to be honest. I've been building this AI stuff, so it's still fairly new. I've had good conversations with it. I think I've closed one so far, but it's still early. But since we're in marketing and sales, I'm just being honest as friends or whatever it is a challenge, getting ghosted on stuff on proposals. And if we can talk about that, I guess we all face that. And now we just get excited and say, okay, that kind of thing. And I'm just being honest, we have a lot to value, but sometimes, people have other agendas and timing and all that. So, but I'd be curious to see how people, manage that, as a team. Anyway,
Yeah.
That's my thought.
It's a good point, Paul. It's something when they say yes, 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 when they're on the call or on the video conference, and then you don't hear from them again. They stop responding altogether. So it's a challenge. I get the same thing. I think a lot of I saw a lot of heads nod. Yep. It's easy to hide today. In the old days, we'd walk across the street to their office and knock on their door. Now, right? So, well, great. Well, thanks, Paul, for that. So, Jeff.
Sure.
Welcome. Jeff Smith, go ahead.
Hey, how's it going? How's everybody doing?
Excellent.
Welcome to this wonderful Wednesday. So I'm Jeff Smith, CEO of Connect 360 Digital. We, full service marketing agency. Definitely have a background on multinational companies, so very high level stuff, global companies. But as 4 years ago, I decided to open up this company and make it more nationally focused. And it really sort of gets to the heart of the matter of return on investment. So that's one of the things that we've started out as our sort of core competency. Not only to exhibit what we do as a return, but also how the company can return in a sustainable way. And so we really get seeded into companies, and this is not novel, right? But it's a type of thing where we have the level of expertise, I guess you call it. Don't pat ourselves too much on the back because it always is changing. But we get really close to the client. And a number of the clients that I guess on the majority side is, with them for numbers of years. And so we do everything from, seeing, the sort of manifesting or lead gen of the prospect all the way through the sales process, and then in dollars and cents into CRMs and all that type of stuff. So, that is really sort of really our core competency, and listening to I'm sorry, Paul, right, with the AI stuff as of late, that really is stuff that's really something that we have used to leverage in getting a lot closer. So we sort of go to the direct to person rather than direct to vertical or anything like that. So we're talking directly to these people that are going to be ultimately the key decision makers and ones that are interested in whatever it is that, we're trying to market. And that really has changed a lot, right? So that's us. That's what we do.
Awesome, Jeff. And then we're trying to keep the intros somewhat brief, but I don't know that, did you answer the question of what emergent strategies?
I think the emergence is the whole AI lead gen. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
But it's nice. It's nice to have the 360 too. I like that approach for sure.
Thank you. Thank you.
So other fellow New Yorker, Eric. So give us your quick introduction and then answer the question about emerging strategies.
Yeah. Am I off mute successfully? I think. Hey everybody, my name's Eric Lebrader, based in New York. I work at Vistrata. I work in management and IT consulting and have for 30 years. Vistrata is a boutique consultancy, full service provider, everything from project management, process streamlining, cybersecurity, you name it. We do it. We're based in New York, but have national and offshore reach. And by virtue of us being a smaller consultancy, I'd say it's interesting. So what's worked for us has always been the relationship sell, right? Selling the existing customers, working through partnerships, providing complementary services. But in the last year, we have wanted to kind of get more outside of that and do more, colder prospecting, more outbound prospecting. So that has led to a lot more time on LinkedIn, more blogs, more posts, more webinars. As a matter of fact, with my partner in crime in New York, Jeff Smith, we're actually going to have, he's going to help sponsor a webinar that we're going to do in July. You guys will all be invited, hopefully. But so we're trying to do more mass outreach that way. We've also dabbled in some things. I'm not sure these are success stories, but I'll just put them out there because they are newer. But we've been trying to do more things with SEO, search engine optimization, and, outbound email campaigns using tools like Apollo to identify, the right buyers and things of that nature. I'll hold my judgment on the success of those last strategies, but the point is, we are doing a lot more, trying to get outside of our inner circle to a larger audience. So
nice. So Eric, you're doing cold email outreach through Apollo. Is that what you're saying?
That's one of the things that we have been doing more of in the last several months. Yes. I'm not saying we've seen the success of that yet, so I'm sort of I'm going to say I'm just mentioning it as something that we do, not that we do successfully, but it is one thing we have been trying. Yes.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, I used Apollo for about 6 months with Highrise, and it's very important in email outreach, which you guys probably know this, to have everything seamlessly set up with your DKIM and your DNS and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And, we found that it was great in the beginning, and then it started to wane as we scaled up. And so we moved off of that platform, and something you guys might want to look at. We use Instantly AI, and I'll put it in the chat here. So that's where I moved to. And it doesn't have the same access to data. In other words, I like Apollo gives you data as well. But it's worked very well. and we were able to send 20 to 30,000 emails a day, with, of course, 300 email addresses and 100 domains. But that's driven the success of Highrise over the years. So if you guys get stuck, I wouldn't say I'm an expert, but I'm certainly a heavy user of those kind of platforms. Happy to help.
Well, we discussed in New York today, Blake, that was the success of your voluminous email campaign is why a lot of us actually are here with Highrise today. So I guess kudos on that to some extent.
Although all of us agreed that it was the phone call that really did it.
True.
Yeah, exactly.
Unanimous.
Multimedia approach.
Yeah.
Perfect. Love it. Thank you for that. But I would say as a problem, when you're so successful in one medium and you think, this is it, this is the Holy Grail, and then it stops working, you're in trouble. And so that's where I think we all have to consistently think about what's next, what's new, what's going to change things, what's going to get in front of people. And once we stop and we get comfortable, the business fails. So it's tough. It's hard to keep up. So speaking of that, Catherine, welcome. Nice to see you.
Thank you, Forrest. I'm Catherine Hampton. I'm a guest as well today, and I am an interior designer. My company is K2S Studio. We're located in Los Angeles, and we do primarily commercial projects. And so I guess my emerging strategy has been kind of going back to the more old-fashioned approach of getting out there and meeting people and doing a lot more networking. The market is kind of closed, in some doors have closed, but other ones are opening. So I've just been doing that, kind of getting out there and finding out what's going on and who needs my services. So that's really what I've been doing, and it's worked. So I'm still here.
So Catherine, are you doing both in-person networking groups and then others that are virtual?
Yes, I have. I've been doing Chamber of Commerce events across Los Angeles, the different ones, as well as some networking and referral groups. And this group is a great opportunity. But I think in person is really a good way to meet people. I've ran into some people at like a West Hollywood Chamber of Commerce meeting and have gotten projects that way. So I think it's just a matter of, you never know, right? Just get out there and go. So,
yeah. Have you considered IFMA, International Facility Management?
yes,
IFMA,
yeah. I've years ago I've been a part of that. I am a board member of the CCIDC, which is the Certification Board for Interior Designers, and I've been active in that. So yeah, I will definitely try IFMA. That's good. Thank you.
Yeah, it's interesting. Since she's in the real estate business and I was for many years. So IFMA's facility managers.
Right.
Yeah.
You know about them. So the thing is they're not really our direct clients. They're not going to buy a project for you, but they might walk you into the construction, or they're our interior architect or their head of real estate. So, and these are people that aren't chased a lot.
Right.
So people aren't standing around like, oh, unless they're HVAC and, that kind of person, cleaning
Yes.
places.
Uh-huh.
So I landed a client, Blue Shield in California, and I did all of their work throughout California because of a referral
Excellent.
from IFMA.
Okay.
So,
Well,
and
that's a really good reminder. Thank you. Yeah.
I know they have local chapters in LA and the San Fernando
Great.
Valley. So yeah, check it out.
Wonderful. Thank you, Forrest.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Adam, sales coaching, that's a tough job.
Yeah, thanks, Forrest. I appreciate the calling on me here. So emerging strategies based on my experience. I guess very quick summary: partner at Southwestern Consulting. We've got about 200 coaches across the country. They're all full time, and we deploy them as kind of a holistic strategy for coaching sales professionals, managers, and leaders. And there's about 11 of us that are partners. So I still have my own coaching deck of clients as well. And this is the type of stuff we work on. So I think emerging strategies, a lot of the work I do ends up being not the sexy new strategy as much as, hey, the fundamentals work really well. We just sometimes fail or forget to implement them. But I will say that I think a strategy we've used internally. I started a division of our company in 2020 where we apply the life coaching concepts to teenagers. So we do one-on-one coaching with teens. So if you think coaching salespeople is difficult for us, try coaching a 16-year-old. The most motivated group in America, right? Teenagers, exactly. So, but I'll tell you, it's really rewarding work because a lot of these teenagers need a lot of these skills that they don't teach in the classroom. So as a leader of that division, the onus has been on me to help create the strategies to make it successful. So just as a personal anecdote, we partnered with a consultancy for Facebook ads that's proved to be really fruitful, but it wasn't immediately fruitful. I think something I learned from it is being really into the details of the ads, knowing that the marketing people do a great job often with ad copy and getting the ad metrics on there. But marketing will always blame sales in some degree for not closing the sales they bring, and sales will always blame marketing for not qualifying the leads enough, right? So it's a marriage, and meeting every 2 weeks with our contractor and really drilling in the messaging, testing, and then just being super detailed on every metric from the moment they get in your calendar to the converting moment where it actually converts into a real opportunity. Has helped us actually get a really healthy ROI on our Facebook leads. And we jumped in and to the deep end with our ad spend last month. So it can work really well. Facebook can still be prolific and delivering clients direct to consumer. It just has taken, probably 18 months of rigorous data and repetition. It was getting us clients before that, but to really build the ROI we needed, it took time.
Fantastic. Yeah, we all in sales and marketing want it tomorrow, because the P&L is quarterly, right? Or monthly. And sometimes these things take a lot longer, and patience is important. I think one marketer told me at one point that, Forrest, you can't switch strategies every 90 days. You actually have to stick with this a little bit, and it'll work. You just got to give it some time. So awesome. Thanks, Adam. Appreciate it. Cheryl, welcome.
Hi, thank you. I think I got caught up with everybody talking, so I got a gist of what we were going through.
No problem. We'll repost it. So
yeah,
just give us your name, what you do briefly, and then I will put it back in the chat for John Grace as well. And then what emerging strategies have been winning business for you or your clients?
Okay. So my name is Cheryl Cousineau. I work with Cetera. I'm a financial planner. What I've noticed is everybody has a financial plan. They just might not know that it exists or that it's the right one for them. So really sitting down with people and looking at what their goals are and what they're trying to achieve, and trying to make sure that the plan that is already in place for them, whether there's a plan or not, there's a plan in place, making sure it aligns with their, really aligns their actions with their intentions. And so we do everything from wealth management, but really taking a more broader look at being the financial go-to person and putting together the entire plan, which I think has been really what's led me to a lot of the marketing and the different things that I've been doing. I also oversee a team of, so I'm a financial planner myself, but I lead a team of 15 advisors in their team. So there's about 25 people. So a lot of what I do is also consult them on different ways that they can approach the type of client that they want to work with. So marketing is something that I spend probably 50% of the time on, talking about it, doing it, finding new ways to reach out to different organizations. I like both I do, like Catherine said, like a little bit more of the in-person. I've always preferred that. That's what I've spent most of my time doing is, putting a face to a name, shaking a hand. Being right there in front of somebody just really tends to be what I enjoy a lot more. I've been able to really, get accustomed to the Zoom over the past 4 years, but it's by far not my favorite thing to do. I'd much rather be sitting across the table from somebody and chatting with them and talking with them and getting to know them on a more personal level. And I think just being authentic is kind of how you generally, build relationships with people and find that trust. Think I go into most situations really looking for how I can find a connection with this person. If there's something that I can help them out with, and business just tends to come from that. So we do a lot of education. I think that that's probably the key to maybe our marketing strategy is being the person that can provide knowledge to people, because knowledge, provides a lot of opportunities for people to see, oh, that's something different that I didn't think about. Maybe this person is somebody that could be valuable for me in a lot of other areas. So just kind of having those conversations, asking the right questions, talking with people, learning what it is that, again, what they need and what their goals are, and then trying to find solutions to their problems that they have. So really just being more of a problem solver than anything.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Cheryl. Yeah, educate, educate, educate.
Educate, yeah, for sure.
We have,
Um,
we have
Yeah,
people that
joining different organizations too, just finding those organizations like you just mentioned with that one that maybe you have an interest in. It doesn't have to be your market. It doesn't have to be your field of study, but something that you have interest in. And if your business can help some of those people, then I think that that is a way to, again, find that genuine connection with somebody because you have an interest in what they do.
Exactly. Yeah, and we talk about this a lot in Highrise. We have these little segments of education. We call them knowledge transfers. And invariably I get emails from people and they ask me, so how much selling should I do? And I say none. You should be educating and sales will come right behind it. If you come up with if you tell them something that they didn't know, or you get their brain going a little bit, they're automatically going to contact you related to that subject matter. And I think we're all in sales and marketing, and it's easy for us to just start, barfing all over them with all the features and benefits. And really, it's being smart is what people want. They can find features and benefits online. They can ask AI for features and benefits. We need to be the real people behind all of those things. And I think that's a great segue to Stephanie. Stephanie, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us what your emerging strategies are?
Thank you. Hi, thanks so much, Forrest. And I also just wanted to welcome Catherine, Scott, and Larry. I'm so happy to see you guys as guests here. It's always nice to meet new people. So my name is Stephanie St. Clair. I'm based in Orange County, California. I run St. Clair Design Studio. We build websites for service-based businesses. And we love helping our clients build a very modern magnetizing presence online. We focus only on website and then helping them build a signature client process. So I love this topic so much. When you use the word emerging in your email, Forrest, I was like Catherine had shared, and even Cheryl, what's emerging now is coming back to basics and being personable in our marketing and our sales. So what's working for our team and for my clients is to have a very personable marketing tone. So speaking to one person, not many. And it's kind of an interesting renaissance right now because when people started moving their businesses online, we all took to the internet to sell. And then right around 2010 and 2012, social media was really getting going. A lot of the webinars we were all attending was basically how to speak to many. Basically, I call it the carpet bombing method, where you're just, spraying and praying and hoping that the business is going to come back. And it was kind of cool to do it that way. Also, the appearance that, you run this big team, or you've got this huge business, or you've got 1 million clients. There was a certain tone of voice that was okay for the times, but I found that since COVID especially, people want to come back to feeling like they're the only one in the room with you. So even if you use ChatGPT to write your socials or your newsletter, make sure you are going in there and cutting out anything that sounds like jargon, corporate speak, making a distance between you and your client. Get it down to, I always say every year you should do a brand new ideal client avatar, name them, and then in your marketing, speak to that one person. That is what's really not just attracting business, but capturing clients for us. And there's 2 other things I wrote down that's really working. Make sure you have a very short path from your clients first look at you. So maybe they discover you on social media or a newsletter, or you've been interviewed on a podcast or whatever. Their friends are referring you. There's a very short path between that moment in time till they are actually talking to a live person, whether that's through email, a Zoom call, a discovery call on the phone, or meeting in person. There used to be a very long, convoluted, fancy path, you know, how we would onboard clients. Now make it as short as possible. And then the third thing is a very well thought out white glove onboarding process, which starts with a clean website, even if it's very minimal. I encourage everybody to go to your website right now and cut half the copy off of it. People cannot handle all the copy that we used to have on websites. They're scanning, so cut the copy, make it super clean and minimal. Have a service guide that you can email that looks really gorgeous. It's a piece of branding. I create these in Canva for my clients. You can share a link. What's cool about that is if you share a link to your service guide, you can always be in there updating it. So there's not a static PDF sitting on someone's email. So a clean website, a beautiful service guide, a rich conversation with you or a member of your team, and then a thoughtfully constructed proposal or service agreement that does not look like a boilerplate. So this is going to differ for everybody. You'll have your own life cycle of a client, but if you're a service-based business and you have a personable brand, having a thoughtfully constructed proposal that looks like you took the time to really listen to what they need and sent it to them is going to win business, because really not a lot of people are doing that. They're not taking the time. I forget who mentioned this about the ghosting on proposals. It's such a heartache for all of us. And it makes you a little cynical to think, oh, I'm just going to dash out this proposal because, you know, it's a numbers game. But honestly, right now, it's really not a numbers game. It's who can be the most in touch with that client, call them by name, follow up with them, speak with them personally. Don't be afraid of the client. Don't be afraid that they have not talked to you. And I'm not suggesting, you know, bomb them with emails. Just be personable and be a resource for them. That has won so much business for me in the last 12 months. So anyway, I appreciate the chance to share.
Yeah, great. It actually reminds me of something I saw this morning, and then we'll get to John Grace. This is a company that I was considering hiring, and it's interesting. There's a little video intro. It's very, very big blocked, not a lot of stuff. You know, this is what I do. Get down to, you know, client testimonials. You scroll down a little more. Here's what I do. You know, it's just so easy to read. And then I go over to my, you know, my Highrise website, and I'm going, not easy to read. So, you know, totally get what you're saying, Stephanie. I think people want to.
Could I just say the Highrise website is actually more favorable than the one you just said, because it's cleaner. The use of white space is beautiful on Highrise, much more favorable than the other one. Also, I would tell that client, take 3/4 of the copy out. But to your point, something that you can navigate easily, and then get to the strategic call to action at the bottom of every single page, whether you want that client to reach out. It used to be follow us on socials, but it's more now, let's get them to reach out to you so you can start having that personal conversation.
Perfect. Thanks, Stephanie. Appreciate it. John, last but not least, quick intro. what emerging strategies as a brilliant marketer and a very good-looking gentleman do you use?
Oh, well, yeah, a number of things, but every Friday's a good Friday. Good to see you all here on Friday. And by the way, may the 4th be with you. Last Thursday, I was pleased to take a call from the LA Business Journal, which says I have been included in their 2024 list of the top 200 business leaders. Now, I want you to know I'm really proud of that because they're not talking about financial advisors. That's only what I've been doing since 1979. Because when we're typically on that list, it means we sold a whole lot of annuities or something. And it doesn't mean we did a good job. We just sold a whole lot of something. Okay. So business leaders 200, that's great cross sections. And they're going to have a social for us, hint, hint, hint. We love socials when we can get to know each other a little bit deeper. What we did on Friday is really interesting. We hosted a webinar with Blackstone. You might know that Blackstone is the largest alternative investment manager in the world. And I am interested in seeing that their portfolios in 2007 was like 60% commercial and retail. That's down to 2%. What we were highlighting, bringing in a VP from New York, might know the name Blackstone, but most of us don't get to meet anybody from Blackstone. And by the way, we had my peers, that's a first. We had people from Pakistan, the Philippines, media on the line, over 50 people on Zoom around the world, including the conference room that was full over lunch. That was a very nice thing to do. But we were really talking about what I'm calling the two shining stars. You might see in the chat my current article, What the F, and of course that's a great acronym for What the Fish. That's what it stands for, right? Real estate off 60%, stocks off 80%. What's an investor to do? That's what our research teams are suggesting are baked in the cake. And now it's not about the predictions, about the preparation. And what I'm saying in terms of the workshop we just did, and I'm happy to talk about this with anybody who'd like to, I'm looking at something that I think is going to hold up no matter what. The REIT has been open for 3 years. The yield is 4.7. The return is over 10% net to the investor every year. And simple math is if you have a portfolio of some money, $100,000 someplace at 10% for 7 years, what does it do? It just doubles. And I like that kind of boring consistency. I don't need the roller coaster ride for my clients who are taking income. The yield again, 4.7, returns 10%, but the two shining stars, it's a portfolio of different types of real estate, and they have 11 different areas, the largest being 25%, if I'm not mistaken. But the two shining stars, I'm calling them, happen to be student housing. How many have paid for that or had it paid for you, right? How about owning? Client tells me with real estate in near USC, USC has 8,000 rental units with a waiting list of 40,000 people. Sorry. So data center infrastructure and student housing. Happy to talk more. That's my message in terms of emerging strategy to help people see how they can win without losing.
Thanks, John. Appreciate it. All right. And John doesn't drink coffee either.
Don't need it.
That's just complete natural. So I had a second topic, but I really think we're going to do a little bit of an audible here, because I think what Paul brought up is interesting, and I think we all suffer from it. And I would love to get the feedback from the group. And what that is that, we do a great job. We got somebody on a Zoom call or an interview, we call it in Highrise. They meet the criteria. It makes complete sense for them to become a client, right? Whatever that client is. And, we leave the meeting, we send them a nice follow-up email, personalized. They say, thank you so much. And we agree on the call that we're going to get back together on I'll respond to them in a month or a week or 2 days or 4 weeks, whatever it might be. Not 4 weeks, it's usually a week. And then all of a sudden, there's no response. There's not anything. And you wonder to yourself, what happened between this great conversation we just had and this disappearance act that they seem to be very good at. So I wanted to put that out there for everybody to kind of brainstorm on and let us know strategies that you've used to, get the people to stop saying yes, 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 but actually to execute and buy your product. And that's the struggles that I think Paul and I had talked about, and I think we see a lot going on. So let's put that on the table and let's chat about that. So what do you guys think is the right way to get somebody from a yes to a monetary commitment? So who wants to take that on to start?
I'll go with that one.
Okay, Rob.
I think what I've discovered over the years is you need to try to figure out what their buying process is. I typically talk to engineers, you know, do my demonstration, show the product, see if it's a good fit for their application. But during that process, I learned over time to discuss things that typical salespeople, you know, technical salespeople like myself don't really want to touch. But after you build your credibility, understand their buying process, things like how are they going to pay, credit terms, what their expectations are, and figure out behind the scenes in their organization. In fact, I got to the point where I just asked, right? Because if you do a good job, you get them to agree that your product's a good fit. But I got to the point where I'm just asking, okay, so what do we need to do next? What does it take to get this through your purchasing system? Do you need to go out to bid? Can I help you obtain other bids on the product because we're the manufacturer? Things to make it easier for that person in that engineering role to help them get it through their own process is what I found. And I think someone else mentioned it on the call. When they ghost you, there's a lot of situations where they just found a different solution, went in a different direction. But I found more often than not that they're just, you know, they're busy doing their day jobs or, you know, whatever they're focused on, and my portion of their project is just they'll get to it when they need to get to it. But to send them, you know, a series of you know, pleasantly worded follow-ups doesn't hurt. And in most cases, they're like, oh yeah, geez, I forgot about that. I need to get back on that. So it's a good reminder. And again, you're helping them. So that's kind of what I found.
Yeah, thanks, Rob. Yeah, but just say you're not interested or I don't have time. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, that's the last email, what they call the breakup email.
Yeah.
Right.
Tell me a little bit. You know, I've sent you 6 emails. Just tell me. Just say that.
But
your thoughts?
Yeah, another thing there is and again, I'm going to go back to the video calls or face-to-face meetings, like the others have said, are even better. But sometimes you can't afford to do follow-ups and face-to-face meetings. But the endless back and forth over email is just, it's a deal killer on both ends. Before you do the meeting, after you do the meeting. So try to get them on an actual call after you sent your proposal, as opposed to countless follow-ups over emails. It's just faster, and that's what people want.
Perfect. Rhonda, go ahead.
I apologize. I'm gonna have to leave and jump off in a minute, but I just wanted to add a couple of points to that. And I really agree with what Rob said. One is before I get off a call with somebody where I know I've established value, I know that they want what I have. I basically say, look, you know what? I really like to reward people that make decisions quickly. So what I'd like to do is give you an incentive. If I know you may have to talk to some people to get some buy-in on this, but if you make a decision within 48 hours, and then what I'll do is I will actually discount the, you know, whatever the proposal is going to be. I have found that when I do that, and I already know that I have buy-in, that 50% of the time, right before the end of that 48 hours, boom, I get the signed contract and I get paid. The second thing that I have also found is I send it a really nice email and I basically say, I'm going to continue to follow up unless you tell me not to. I know that you get busy. I know that I'm busy. If you're not interested, and I put a little humor into it, and I basically say, look, I have kids, you can't insult me. But if you'd want me to stop, just tell me and I'll go away. Otherwise, I'll continue to follow up. And that's what I have found. And really, the biggest thing for me is I put the incentive out there. And if they really want to do it, they'll do one of two things. They'll say yes and they'll sign, or they'll reach out and they'll say, hey, you know what? I'm really interested. I can't do it in 48 hours. Is there a way that you can give me a little more time? And I'll always say yes, because if they are going to ask, the only reason I put that out there is because I know for myself, if I have a deadline, it's going to get done, right? If somebody's going to give me a significant enough discount and I want it, I'm going to do it. For my dentist actually gives a discount if you pay in advance, right? So they know you're going to show up and you're going to pay for that $300 cleaning. So I pay it in advance. It doesn't matter that it's 5%. Who cares? Right? It still gets me to commit. I'm going to be there. It's already paid for. So anyway, I've got to jump. I apologize. I thought this only went till 1. Thank you all so much. And I'll see you next time. Hopefully that was helpful.
Good points, Rhonda.
Thanks.
As usual.
Bye.
Keith, go ahead.
One thing that I've learned in being in the financial services industry is that people only do things that they want to do. And I'm not going to talk anybody into anything. I might help them understand their situation. I might help them understand the problem. But at the end of the day, they only do things that they're comfortable doing. And so I've looked at my job from going from, hey, I'm selling myself, I'm selling my philosophy, or, in the past, I'm selling this product, to just serving them and helping them understand what I have to offer. And I'll just end the conversation with, what should we do next? Prime example, in 27 minutes, I'm meeting with John in Coral Gables, Florida. We had that exact conversation last week. He said that he would contact us in the next few weeks because he wanted to talk to some other financial advisors. The next day he emailed me and said, hey, let's set up another conversation. I'm going to get $1 million account in about an hour.
Very good. Thanks, Keith. Good luck with that. Awesome. Stephanie, go ahead.
Sure. So I put all my information that they could possibly really need before they speak to me on my website, which includes pricing. Some people feel shy about putting pricing, or sometimes it can be like, oh, there's a range. Put the range on there, qualify your lead before you ever get to the proposal stage. So just for me, I'll share some numbers with you. For our firm, we need 12 full service websites a year to be profitable for myself and my team, which means I've got to get on these discovery calls with about 40 well-qualified people a year in order to hone it down to that 12. So I give them all the information before we ever get to the proposal stage. But the thing that we do that really helps close once we send out a proposal is I lead with the face-to-face meeting, whether it's in person if they're in Orange County. I'm in New York a lot because I lived in Manhattan for 10 years. So if I'm in New York, I'm trying to meet face-to-face, but otherwise it's Zoom. I really listen to them. And then, like I said, I craft the proposal, I send it, and I have an expiration date for signature and deposit that's 10 days dated. So usually at that point, they know they either want it or not. But I've had times where we've sent out the proposal after a really warm, wonderful conversation, and I've still had to follow up. And what I do is send them something helpful for their industry. And in my language, I'm still warm, but I have a with or without you energy about everything I communicate going forward with the client. With or without you, we're going to be building amazing websites. With or without you, you're going to be kind of stuck where you're at. It's always kind. I even will say, if you don't feel like we're the right fit, we can help refer you to somebody that'll do a great job for you. But with or without you, we're going on to the next client. And I tell you, that kind of energy really gets them to get serious about whether they're going to sign with us or not. And it usually works favorably for us.
Yeah, great.
Interesting.
I had a Apex boardroom, which is our CEO group, client on, and he really wanted an in-person meeting. In Apex, we only meet quarterly in person nationally, and he's in New York. So I said, I think I have a great solution for you. It's Vistage. It's not even Apex. And I took him to the website and I said, I think this is what you should do. And he said, wait a second. I really want to be an Apex. So it was like this weird, I want to help you whichever way it is. I don't care if it's us or them, but this might fit better for you. And then he reversed it. It's like, I think they call that the takeaway in sales, where you pull it off the table and say, well, this might be better. So anyway, I'll let you know if it works out. Adam, I figured you'd have all kinds of good ideas.
Yeah, I hope so. It's part of my job.
Yeah.
No, there's a lot of synergy already in the room of good things. I think if I had to simplify all the ideas to the one that tends to be the most impactful, it's also the one that's the most simple and basic. Many people get caught in cat and mouse games with prospects because they fail to do a very, very, very simple thing, which is never leave a meeting without the next one set. It's so fundamental. But when my client, who's a political consultant, did this, his revenue grew 40% in a year, and he already had good revenue. And he literally professed to me at the end. He said, coaching was good, Adam, but one concept was all I needed. And that was to really be diligent about never leading a meeting without the next one set. Never send a proposal. This is going to get all kind of flack because we're all like, well, our clients need the proposal. Never send a proposal. Review the proposal with your client on Zoom, in person, whatever. That keeps you in control of the sales process. I can't tell you how many contracts I've won because they saw the proposal while I was with them and they balked at something. And I could encourage them that this could be amended or changed to fit what they needed, and that maybe I missed something. And it gave me a second chance to close the business. So never send a proposal over email. Always review it with them. And so I've been surprised that this applies to almost every industry. And never leave a meeting without the next one set. And you will not play cat and mouse much anymore.
Perfect. Awesome, Adam. Yeah, I remember back in the day, we would never, ever send a proposal. I used to do commercial real estate, a lease proposal to a counteracting broker without walking it in their office and handing it to them. So what you said is a very good thing back. Paul, you want to go? And then we'll go to Jeff.
Oh, Jeff is first.
Okay, go ahead, Jeff.
Yeah, I'll be quick. I mean, very much, on Adam Seals here, right? So one of the things that I make sure that when I'm in with a prospect that I find is pretty hot, and we're going down that end of funnel scenario is be prepared, right? So one of the things I have is a really good idea about what are the services and aspects of what they're going to want. I have that in my back pocket, right? And I can give that or show it in person. I really try to be in person about all these different aspects, and we just delineate it. It's like, here, do you want this? Do you want this? Do you want this? Like almost like a Chinese menu type of deal. And then we go through it and they're just like, oh my gosh, had no idea that it had all those different elements. I'm like, yeah, that's what this is all about. And it's just how much richer experience, right? And then they're like, oh, so how does, this is like the whole ROI thing I'm talking about, but it tells them and it exhibits to them how interested you are in their business. And then they're like, okay. And then that whole bridging of like decision process, so much smoother. And like the same thing with Adam, I never leave a meeting without setting a date. Never.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Love it. Paul.
Well, yeah, it's a good thing. I tried to do that yesterday, and he said, well, just get back to me in 2 weeks. Send me your proposal first. So, you're not going to force them. Well, let's do it a different way. I don't think you can do that. Well, I just wanted to read something I did. Usually with my follow-ups, I maybe with their industry, I find an article to share. I thought you might find this interesting. I mean, I try everything, right? But one thing, I got a response back from a good potential one. I have to wait a little longer, but I'm going to read it to you, if you don't mind.
Go for it.
I just did this, for a few people, and I did get one response. The subject line was my passion, dedication, and commitment. Hi, Mark. I wanted to personally touch base and share a bit more about my dedication and passion for helping businesses like yours thrive. I am deeply committed to your success. When we collaborate, you'll see firsthand how my passion translates into tangible results. My approach is rooted in a genuine desire to see you grow and succeed. I believe in building strong, lasting partnerships based on trust, transparency, and relentless hard work. My dedication to your success is unwavering, and I'm constantly striving to deliver exceptional value in every project. What drives me to the opportunity is to make a difference. I am passionate about leveraging my expertise to help you overcome challenges and achieve your goals. My commitment is to provide personalized strategic solutions that are specifically designed to meet your unique needs. Thanks for considering working with me. I'm excited about the possibility of partnering with you and contributing to your continued success. So that was a good one because he came back to me and said, yeah, thanks for reaching out. We're still working through getting additional seed funding. Once we get blank in the bank, I'll need to until we get another 250K, I need to pause engaging you, but let's touch base another 3 to 4 weeks. So that was it. At least he responded.
Yeah. Okay.
That was more of a heartstring email, than
Yeah, totally.
it was a strategy to try that. That's all.
Yep.
Right. We try a lot of things. That's how we find what works. Other comments around this topic?
If I could just tag on one last thing for us. I don't want to overspeak. We all want to have time. I would just say, and this is me stirring the pot a little bit with something that Keith said earlier, but I wholly disagree that our clients are just going to do what they're comfortable with. I wholly disagree with that. I think our job as consultants is to help them do the things they're uncomfortable with, because everybody has fear around a new partnership, right? They prefer the person they know, even with all the mistakes they make, to the person they don't know and the mistakes that they could make. It's inherent in any sales cycle that fear plays a role. Our job as consultants of any kind is to help them cross the threshold of what they're uncomfortable with and to hold their hand and help them build confidence in that decision. And so I'm being a contrarian. I think Keith meant other things here along with that, but I also just like to stir the pot a little bit. So Keith, hopefully you're okay with that perspective.
Nice. Well, Keith, don't worry about it. We'll throw Adam out soon. Well, good. A great discussion. Thanks all for the input. I know that we could go on for hours. This is fantastic. I do want to get to just a few minutes of KPIs. And I want to frame this by saying, we're not talking about necessarily the KPIs that your company sends down to you and says, hey, you should be doing this much. I really see this as more of a discussion around our own internal things that we're holding ourselves accountable to on a daily basis. And I think we miss out on that sometimes. And we forget that, we have to be the ones that are motivated to do these things. And it's not necessarily other people's goals. It's really our goals. And I think that's the first step, is what is your end game? I forget who it was that, so it might have been you, Stephanie, that it was 40 to 12, right? I need to do 40 solid interviews to get 12 results. Well, now you get to back into, okay, so how many LinkedIn followers do I need, or how many LinkedIn contacts, or how many email marketing, or how many phone calls do I need to make to get those 40 prospect meetings that then turn into the results. And I think what we do a lot of times is, the biggest problem I've had as a salesperson for 40 years is, has it been 40 years? Maybe. Is that at the end of the day, feeling like I didn't do enough. Feeling like I didn't make that extra 20 contacts. I didn't do enough. And I think that's why KPIs are important, because then we can finish what we have to do, feel good about it, and be confident in the results that those actions that we took are going to result in. And I think that's very different than going home and saying, gosh, I should have sent 20 more emails, or 30 more emails, or 50 more emails. So I think a lot of it has to be creating a manageable key performance indicator, but also to let ourselves do what we've set out and then go play golf or go to the gym, but or not go home and say, well, I should do double today because I need to make more money. So that's kind of the perspective that I think about KPIs. And then I also think we have to be reasonable with ourselves and give ourselves some latitudes. There are days when we wake up, never John Grace, but all of us others, we'll wake up and we just don't have the same energy that we had yesterday. And it's okay. It's all right. The world's not going to end if you don't make those 20 follow-up calls. So I think we also have to be gentle to ourselves and not put ourselves in a negative. And at the end of the day, it's positive. You have to have that positive feeling when you're going into a sales and marketing situation. The next thing I'll talk about is contact management. I know that every single one of you guys have a great CRM. You probably hate paying the bill each year, which I do. I think it's kind of like a utility company. We don't really have a choice. But use it extensively. Let it do all the heavy lifting. So when you show up in the morning, you know you need to make those 20 follow-ups. Those 20 follow-ups are sitting in your report, and it's very easy to commit to making those happen. Other thing I would say is a dashboard to be able to look at things quickly. And then the last thing I'll talk about, well, this is a very quick 20 minutes, so we're doing it quick, is to revisit it often. A key performance indicator is nothing if the results aren't getting you what you expected. So always going back and saying, is this action that I'm taking creating the result that I want? And in our situation, we felt in Highrise, we wanted to send 20,000 emails a day. I mean, that's a lot, right? But we found that the results of those 20,000 went down to about 1% response. So we thought, well, let's send 40,000 in a day. Then the response went to 0.5% a day. So not sure why that happened, but the point is that more wasn't necessarily better. I think we always have to be evaluating the volume that we're chasing and then come back to what is the result that we're trying to achieve. And I think continually learning, I think somebody said that today, is testing things, trying out, like I'm diving deep into LinkedIn right now, and we're testing out, reaching out to CEOs with a very simple message, a one-line message, which is at this point, are you struggling with work-life balance? Because most CEOs are, and we're seeing what the response is going to be. But we're going to come back and continue to evaluate that and test and test and test. I remember one time I had a travel company and we did golf vacations. And, normally we had Scotland and we only had about $150,000 worth of products that we could sell at any one point in time. And we changed our video on our homepage of our website just a little bit. And what we said is we guarantee, not your money back, we'll guarantee that you'll have the best golf vacation you've ever had. And strangely enough, we used to sell about 20,000 per email. We sold out everything we had, $150,000 in product, just because we tried something new. And it was fantastic. So that's all I have on KPIs. What are you guys doing with KPIs? Is there any good input that you have that can support this dialogue?
At risk of oversharing again, I can speak
Yeah,
to this. We call them critical success factors as a different definition, only to open it up also to life application. That is my dog. The application to life being that, the same KPIs you might apply to a business, you can take that same strategy and apply it to any habit that needs to be built and measured. And I think it's a really powerful concept that when someone engages in coaching, if they don't have KPIs currently or don't pay attention to them and they only look at the results in the top line and they don't reverse engineer it to the controllable activity and metrics, that just that one change, which people can take on their own initiative, makes a profound difference in performance, right? Just knowing the heartbeat and the pulse of what drives revenue. And I think my last comment would be that a lot of people don't reverse engineer it enough. You know, like, do you get it all the way down to dials made if you're in the calling business? You know, do you get it down to, if you're going to network and go to a networking events like this? I mean, how do you track performance coming out of, you know, a Highrise meeting? And it can be always sometimes a little bit untangible, but maybe it's advisor meetings or COI meetings coming out of it. And from those COI meetings over time, how many of those become A+ referral partners? And then I'll shut up here because this is going to be a little bit of my topic when I do our Highrise call on in a few weeks. So
Okay, as a sales, we have a marketing vertical coming up. Yeah, thanks, Adam. Appreciate it. Eric, go ahead.
Yeah, well, the only thing I'll add is that, I mean, I don't know, in consulting anyways, you know, we've done work defining metrics for clients. I mean, at the end of the day, and this might seem obvious, but I think it's easy to over-engineer and have, number one, too many metrics, right? Because you want to measure everything, and that becomes untenable, and that generally fails. And then I think it's, you know, at the end of the day, you've got to make sure that whatever your KPIs or your critical success factors are, they have to, whatever they are, they need to be able to drive the right behaviors you're looking for. So, you know, at the end of the day, you know, you mentioned call volume, right? And I remember a client once, this was actually a great story, goes back many years, but there was a client where the metric was, they were doing retail, they were visiting stores, they're doing store visits, you know, and kind of stocking shelves. And I remember being at a meeting where we were deploying a new system. And the concern was that previously the metric for these folks, these salespeople, were number of store visits, right? Just get the store visits done. Well, we were implementing technology that was going to actually be very helpful, but was going to make them, you know, spend more time in the store, right? It just takes time, right? There's more to capture. There's technology. And there was a concern saying, wait a minute, you know, if you give us this technology, you're going to hurt our metric, right? Our performance is going to fail because now we can only do 5 calls a day versus 6. I remember the VP of merchandising get up there and say, as of right now, we're changing the metric, right? The metric is no longer number of calls, it's number of quality calls, right? And I forget how that was even defined, but you know, it just changed the behavior because again, right, the right behavior is do the call right, not just speed through it at breakneck speed. And by changing the metric, you know, that helped people understand what they were doing. It helped actually gain acceptance of the technology because now they weren't worried about their metrics falling. They were going to do a better job, have a better call, better customer satisfaction because of the tool, and the metrics were changing to reflect that. So that's my story and my message. You know, a lot more could be said, but at the end of the day, don't have too many, have them drive behavior and be willing to change to get the desired outcome. So that's what I'll throw out there.
Great job. Yeah, we had a lawyer in our CEO group who said something similar, Eric. He couldn't understand why his conversions were not going very well. And what he had done is he had incentivized his salespeople who took the incoming calls based on us bringing them in as a new client, not as a paying client. So they were like, oh, great, let's just bring a whole bunch of clients in. But they never made any money on them. And there was a cost of acquisition or cost of setting them up. And when he shifted the motivation to the revenue that was generated by that client to these salespeople, immediately they stopped feeding the funnel with crap that was never going to close. And I think he had adjusted to, he was like at 44%, it went up to 64% in 2 months just by adjusting what their motivation was, what they were incentivized to do. So yeah, make sure. Go ahead, John. Oh, he's just raising his hand.
Sorry.
No, it's fine.
Eric, what do you think the right number of KPIs are or range? I'm not saying this because I know the answer. I'm actually really genuinely curious.
You know, I'll be honest, I'm not sure I can quantify it. I mean, there's not like an answer that, oh, you know, the magic number is 3. You know, I know my best answer might be no more than you can see on a page or a single dashboard. How about that? Whatever that number is, you know, maybe that's 3 to 5, maybe it's whatever. It's not 10 or more. It's probably single digits, but you know, that's my best sort of evasive answer if that helps.
You've done depositions before, I can tell. In New York, you have to, that's part of the program.
Walking the
So,
streets.
given that we've only got a few minutes left, I just want to thank you guys for being here. It was really a lot of fun. This is what this is all about, engaging in great conversations that literally we could walk into our next meeting or our next prospect call tomorrow and implement. And I think that's helpful for us. So thanks everybody for being here. I appreciate it. And I'll follow up, and don't ghost me, okay? Because I'll get upset. All right, everybody, have a great rest of your day.
Have a good night, guys. Take care.